and welcome back to Pierogi by Kelly. Today I'll be teaching you to make a potato filling. This potato filling is traditionally referred to as Pierogi ruskie. Ruskie refers to Ruthenia, which over time has included different parts of Eastern Europe, including Poland. Pierogi ruskie is one of the most traditional pierogi fillings, as well as one of the most popular. This filling tastes similar to mashed potatoes. This recipe is from my babci. However, as my dad always says, cooking is an art, so feel free to add your own seasoning. Now let's begin. Here we have 2 pounds of russet potatoes, which were washed, peeled, cut into halves, boiled until tender, and have now cooled. 1 large onion, 8 ounces or 1 cup of ricotta cheese, salt and pepper, which will be added based on taste, and 1 tablespoon of butter. First, we're going to finely chop the onion. And if you find that your eyes are very sensitive to onion and you cry every time you cut an onion, I would recommend putting the onion into a food processor. Now that these have been finely chopped, I'm just going to take my butter and I'm going to add that into the pan. And then I'm just going to stir this around. Butter's ready, so now I'm just going to take my onions and I'm going to put them all into the skillet. We're just going to saute these, and I would recommend using a wooden spoon to just stir them around to make sure that they don't burn. Okay, so these seem like they're done. As you can tell, they've gotten a little more like yellowy and translucent, and they're very soft, as well as you can smell them. One of the best ways to tell when your onions are done being sauteed is you can smell them, and they have a really strong smell. And I'm going to turn the heat off. While the onions are cooling, we're going to take the potatoes, and using a large bowl, if your potatoes aren't already in one, we're going to put them in there, and then we're going to mash them. And basically, right now what we're doing is you're going to want to turn these into the consistency of mashed potatoes. If you would prefer, you can put your potatoes through a potato press, a rice presser, or in the food processor. The potatoes have been mashed. They look like this. They look really similar to a mashed potato. We're going to add in the ricotta cheese. So we're just going to put that in there. Using a spoon, we're just going to mix these together. And try to get these fully combined. And the potatoes will look more like a creamy texture. These are fully combined together, and they're now kind of a creamy texture. Now we're going to add the onions, which have finished cooling. We're just going to take them right out of the skillet and add them directly in here. We're also going to use the salt and pepper and add those to taste. It's really important to add the salt and pepper as well as the onions, because without them, these filling tastes very, very bland. If you would like, you could also add some other spices as well as more butter. Okay, and once all of that seems to be fully mixed, I'd recommend trying it just to see if you need any more, which I think I do. So I'm just going to add some more and then continue the process of just adding more, mixing, adding as you think it needs. I've adjusted my filling to my liking, and as someone who does not really like mashed potatoes, this is pretty good. So I'm just going to put these in the fridge, and I'm going to prepare my dough to be filled. If you'd like more about how to make dough or the process of preparing the dough, check out my first video, which is linked in the description. So I have my discs and I have my filling, which I grabbed out of the fridge. So my mixture seems pretty thick, so I'm going to use about a teaspoon. However, if yours is a little more liquidy, if you added milk or a little bit more butter, I would recommend going down to only half a teaspoon because you don't want these to burst while they're boiling. Okay, so I've added filling into the center of all of my pierogi. Now I'm just going to press and crimp them together. So I'm just crimping my last few now, and then I'm going to boil these, and I'm going to prepare a few to eat by sauteing them in butter. Pierogi ruskie are also commonly sauteed in caramelized onions, as well as minced bacon or some sort of other mixture but if you'd like more about the cooking process as well as preparing them to eat and sauteing them, go check out my first video, which is linked in the description. I have my pierogi, which I fried in, sauteed in some butter, and let's try one. Those are really good. As someone who's not a big fan of mashed potatoes, those were delicious. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck in pierogi making.